In the annals of criminal history, few figures loom as disturbingly as Dr. Harold Shipman. A seemingly ordinary general practitioner, Shipman transformed his position of trust and care into an instrument of death, becoming Britain's most prolific serial killer. His chilling campaign of murder, meticulously concealed for decades, shattered public faith in the medical profession and left an indelible scar on the lives of hundreds of families.
For decades, Harold Shipman was seen as a model GP in the quiet town of Hyde, Greater Manchester. He was old-fashioned, made house calls, and seemed genuinely caring. But beneath this veneer of respectability lay a darkness so profound, it would only be fully comprehended years after his insidious crimes began. Harold Frederick Shipman was born on January 14, 1946, in Nottingham, England. His early life seemed unremarkable, typical of a quiet, somewhat introverted boy. A significant event, however, often pointed to as a potential influence, was the death of his mother from lung cancer when he was just 17. He witnessed her suffering and the administration of morphine to ease her pain. An intimate exposure to the power of drugs over life and death. He pursued medicine, graduating from Leeds University in 1970. His first professional steps seemed standard, but it wasn't long before cracks appeared. In 1975, while working as a junior doctor, Shipman was caught forging prescriptions for pipethidine, a painkiller, for his own ease. This drug addiction led to a conviction and a temporary suspension, a serious red flag, dismissed then as a personal struggle, but in hindsight, a chilling prelude. Despite this setback, Shipman rebuilt his career, eventually moving to Hyde in 1977. It was here, first at the Donnybrook Medical Center, and then from his own single-handed practice, that he cemented his image as the trusted family doctor. This position, of unchallenged authority and profound trust, became the perfect camouflage for his horrifying campaign. Shipman's method was chilling in its simplicity and devastating in its effectiveness. He didn't use brute force or overt aggression. His weapon was the profound trust patients placed in him. His primary tool was diamorphine, a powerful opioid. He would administer a lethal dose, often during a routine house call, or when the patient was alone. The drug would induce a rapid decline, mimicking natural causes like a heart attack or stroke. Crucially, there was no struggle, no witnesses, just a sudden, quiet passing. After administering the fatal injection, Shipman would meticulously falsify the patient's medical records. He'd backdate entries, invent symptoms, or modify diagnoses to create a fabricated narrative of deteriorating health. This made the sudden death appear plausible, aligning with their supposed medical history. As the attending physician, he had the authority to issue death certificates. By falsely attributing the cause of death to natural ailments, he bypassed the need for post-mortem examinations, which would have instantly revealed the presence of the lethal drug. His preferred victims were elderly women, often living alone. They were vulnerable, less likely to have family members immediately questioning their deaths, and their passing could be more easily attributed to old age. He exploited their isolation and the unquestioning deference often shown to medical professionals of his generation. He even forged wills or acquired possessions, though financial gain wasn't deemed his primary motive. The single-handed nature of his practice provided him with unprecedented autonomy. There was little oversight, no colleagues to consult with, or review patient deaths, allowing him to operate in a chilling vacuum. The most haunting question surrounding Harold Shipman is, why? He never confessed, never apologized, never offered a shred of explanation for his monstrous acts. His silence leaves us with unsettling theories. Many experts point to a profound need for control and power. As a doctor, he held the ultimate authority over life and death. He might have found a perverse satisfaction in exercising this dominion. His actions are also highly indicative of psychopathy, a lack of empathy, a disregard for social norms, and manipulative behavior. He maintained a compassionate facade while systematically murdering, revealing a complete absence of conscience. Some theorize a God complex, believing he had the right to determine the fate of his patients. Others suggest a dark thrill of the kill, or even a distorted desire to ease suffering by ending lives. But ultimately, without his own words, the true depths of his depravity remain a chilling mystery. For decades, Shipman got away with murder, but the sheer scale of his crimes eventually became impossible to ignore. The first significant alarm was raised in March 1998 by Dr. Linda Reynolds, another GP in Hyde, who noticed an unusually high death rate among Shipman's elderly female patients. An initial police investigation, tragically, found no wrongdoing, allowing him to claim more victims. The turning point came with the death of Kathleen Grundy in June 1998. Mrs. Grundy was a vibrant, active 81-year-old, a former mayoress of Hyde. Her daughter, Angela Woodruff, a solicitor, was deeply suspicious when a new will appeared, leaving nearly all of Mrs. Grundy's substantial estate to Dr. Shipman. Angela's legal background and her intimate knowledge of her mother's affairs were crucial. She contacted the police. Police exhumed Mrs. Grundy's body, and the truth was unearthed: lethal traces of diamorphine. On September 7, 1998, Harold Shipman was arrested. The investigation widened, revealing a horrifying pattern. Body after body was exhumed, many confirming the presence of the fatal drug. His meticulously falsified records were exposed, revealing his systematic deception. Shipman's trial began in October 1999. On January 31, 2000, he was convicted of 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. He was sentenced to 15 concurrent life sentences with a recommendation that he never be released. The true scale of his crimes, however, was far greater. Later inquiries would conclude he killed at least 215 patients, with suspicions around another 45, bringing the total to potentially 284 lives stolen. On January 13, 2004, the day before his 58th birthday, Harold Shipman took his own life at HUM Prison, Wakefield. He was found hanging in his cell. His suicide meant that he would never offer an explanation, never confess, never provide closure to the hundreds of families whose lives he had shattered. While some were relieved he could no longer harm, others felt he had taken the coward's way out, denying them the answers they so desperately sought. Shipman's victims were not anonymous statistics. They were individuals with rich lives, families, and communities, from the lively Kathleen Grundy, whose daughter's courage exposed him, to Eva Lyons, likely his very first victim in 1975, to Winifred Meller and Ivy Lomas, a younger woman who still had years ahead. Each was a life, tragically cut short by the man they trusted. Families were left with a devastating double blow: the grief of losing a loved one, compounded by the horrifying realization that their passing was not natural, but murder. The trust he built, his compassionate facade, made the betrayal even more unbearable. The scale of Shipman's crimes forced a nationwide reckoning. The Shipman Inquiry, a comprehensive public investigation, highlighted catastrophic systemic failings within the medical system. It led to crucial reforms: stricter regulations on prescribing controlled drugs, improved death certification procedures, and enhanced oversight of single-handed practices. Harold Shipman's story is a chilling reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked power and the profound impact of betrayal. It forever altered the relationship between doctor and patient, reinforcing the need for vigilance, accountability, and ethical integrity within the medical profession, ensuring that such a heinous abuse of trust never happens again.